Today we review Lavina by Devere Games, right after this. Hey everyone, Sam here from the Tabletop Hub, your one-stop shop for all things tabletop. And today we are reviewing Lavina, which is one of the newest games to come from Devere Games that pairs wonderfully with a glass of wine, a few friends, and an evening of good laughs. Now, Lavina is a game for 2 to 5 players, and each game will last anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes. So what is it all about? Well, players will take turns moving their grape pickers through the vineyard, picking and choosing which grapes they'd like to collect as they do so. When they come out of the other end of the vineyard, players will have the option of selling the contents of their baskets to a selection of vineyards in return for points if they satisfy the minimum requirements that the vineyard has set out. After all, they won't just accept any old swill, unless they're the wine cooperative, that is. Each player has a select number of barrels, which is what you'll give to a vineyard when you make a delivery. When a player has made their last delivery, the game will come to a close, and players will continue until everyone has left the vineyard, after which points are tallied and a winner is announced. The premise of Lavina is simple to understand. Collect some berries, make some good wine, sell it off for lots of points. But after a few walks through the vineyard, you'll begin to understand that there is more strategy to the wine market than you may have originally thought. One thing I would say to that end is that while this game is colourful, vibrant, and has a casual feel to it, there is a strategy to playing it, and players who don't like games that require you to sometimes think ahead and plan your movements and actions accordingly may not enjoy Lavina as much as others. So how does strategy play a part? Well, as you walk through the vineyard, you may notice that some of the grape cards have a little symbol on them. These are tools that you can collect and use to your advantage, and each one does a different thing. While normally a picker always has to take the grape card that is on top, the billhook will enable that picker to take any grape from the space they are on, regardless of whether it's on top or not. The shears will enable a player to take 2 grape cards instead of 1, and finally the boots will enable a picker to take a card that is next to any space in the aisle behind the one that the picker is in. And this can be incredibly useful if a rival picker has made some grapes available to you that you need to complete a set. Not only do these cards add a greater level of strategy to the game, but keeping an eye on the availability of a vineyard and the points that it awards is incredibly important too. You see, every vineyard has a specific amount of barrels that they'll accept, and the points value of that barrel can vary drastically. Just because a Pinot Noir winery is offering 16 points for a 7+ barrel of wine does not mean they all will, and keeping an eye on this and formulating a strategy accordingly is incredibly important. I can't tell you how many times I or another picker have been carefully preparing a basket for delivery to a vineyard, only to have another picker hurry through and max out the capacity of that winery, leaving us with worthless grapes in our baskets. There are moments where you'll want to make sure you take your time when you pick grapes, and there are other moments when you'll want to make sure you're the first one to reach the wineries. One final thing that makes gameplay interesting is player priority. You see, it's not a circle of play where everyone takes it in turns as play moves around the circle. In Lavina, whoever is nearest the entrance of the vineyard is always the player that will go first, and this will definitely catch you out if you're not careful. You see a 5-point Cabernet Sauvignon near the end of the track and you use your first turn to move up there and take it. Be aware that it will be a long time before you get to go again, and in that time, the player at the back can take their time and may actually be able to fill up a basket and leave the vineyard to go to the wineries to steal the points from right under your nose before you even get a second turn. In Lavina, it's not about speed, it's about the perfect timing of your actions that will win you the game, which I guess in a roundabout way is a perfect analogy for making wine itself, really. If there is one part of the gameplay that could be gotten rid of though, it's the wild grape card. You see, the first person to reach the end of the vineyard each round is awarded the wild card grape, which can be any grape you want it to be. Now, as far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong, it counts as just one grape. Now, I've done maybe 20 play sessions of Lavina so far, and not once has the wild grape token ever been used to swing a game in someone's favour. In fact, more often than not, it usually just gets forgotten about. Now, don't get me wrong, the idea of it makes sense. You reach the end of the vineyard, you're 1 point short, and you trade in the wild card grape to be able to sell off that final barrel. But in practice, it doesn't really happen that often. I get why it's there, but you'll usually find yourself excluding this game mechanic from your sessions when playing. So let's talk about presentation. Now, this is something that I see as being incredibly important in board games. If the artwork, the graphics, and the elements of the game haven't had the same love and attention poured into them than the actual game rules have, then that actually is a little bit of a turn-off for me. Thankfully, I can safely say that the presentation for Lavina is superb. The game is full of distinct and vibrant colours, the cards are easy to understand and decipher, and there's something really satisfying about the points tokens. I can't necessarily describe this fully in words, but there's something really gratifying when you have a 50-point token sitting in front of you as opposed to a 1-point token, and they've done a great job at communicating that sense of achievement in you as the player through something really quite simple, and they just look great. So where would this game fit in your collection? So for me, this is a game I recommend when I'm with family or friends and we're just looking for something fun to sit down and relax with. There's an element of competition, but it's not too severe, and there aren't too many rules to master in order to get the hang of playing it, and for that reason it's a good game for people who maybe don't play board games very often. It's a theme most people can understand and get behind, and if you open up a bottle of wine or two while playing, it can definitely add a little bit of flavour, shall we say, to your play sessions. Lavina perhaps isn't a game that you'll play every week in your gaming group, but when it is suggested, you'll find that most people will chomp at the bit to uncork it and have another go at some casual fun. It's a game I thoroughly enjoy, and it's definitely one I recommend to add to your collection. But folks, that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend it here on my channel. Feel free to subscribe for more game reviews and tabletop videos just like this one. But until next time, have a great week. I will of course speak to you all soon.